And we are on October 28th, 2022. It's Friday, almost the weekend. And boy, was there a lot of news that came out last night and throughout the week. But before we do that, I want to share something with you guys. And afterwards, we'll talk about it. But get ready. This is a little treat for you. This is something that we put together. And just watch it. Those of you that stumble upon it, all you do is you got to just call us at 800-753-8534. Here we go. And this is what we've been talking about all along. You know, this is how you can go ahead and protect yourself. Now, starting today, our good friends at YouTube are going to start putting it out there. And, of course, anyone that clicks on it, you don't have to click on it. You can give us a call at 800-753-8534. And either one of these two guys, Rob and Andy, will definitely be able to get you out that report that I've written, so that you can understand and have actual material in your hand rather than just listening to us talk about gold and silver. I want to share something with you. You know, I know gold prices, silver prices have been down and they're just spinning. But I tell you something, once the dollar breaks free and we get out from underneath this dollar and then the bottom drops out of the dollar, you're going to see gold prices and silver prices start to escalate very high. And the numbers are talking silver at 4-to-1, gold prices going up into the 2000s and forward, upward. So, you know, just protect yourself and just diversify, because right now, the way the markets are being played, it's very dangerous for people to have everything that they've ever owned put into the stock market. So just protect yourself. And there's a lot of news that I want to get out in front, and then I'll bring the guys in and ask them a lot of questions, you know, about what we're talking about as far as like, one thing that really has me concerned, and it was breaking news that came out this morning, and it had to do with this intruder that assaulted the House Speaker's husband, Paul Pelosi. So Nancy Pelosi's husband now was actually attacked in their San Francisco home. Pelosi, who's 82 years old, was hospitalized after the assault, but was expected to recover, is what they're saying. And it's interesting because you would think that the House Speaker, whether she's in the home or not, that her family would have security around the house. And it just blows my mind is how somebody can get into a 3-level brick home that's gated and everything. We know she has a gate, right? Because everybody's been talking about how she gates everything. And, you know, then when President Trump was trying to gate, you know, you remember all that commotion. But anyway, it's interesting that he was attacked. It's almost like maybe he opened up the door for somebody. You guys, maybe what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it sounds very fishy, the whole thing.
I mean, we can't say that.
The guy goes in there.
Allegedly, somebody went in there.
He beats up an old man. He doesn't steal anything.
He's 82 years old.
And
thank God he's able to make a recovery.
And then he walks down to the police station and turns him in. And
wait, he walked down? No,
he
didn't walk down to the police station.
I'm kidding. It seems like that. Oh, they got him.
No, Andy.
The guy couldn't even run away from an 82-year-old guy. You know what kind of criminal is?
Well, you don't know. You don't know what
was he doing. What was he doing?
Look, early this morning, there was an assailant that broke into Mr. Pelosi's home and his residence in San Francisco and violently assaulted Mr. Pelosi.
Yeah, where are the pictures of Paul Pelosi? We'd like to see those.
Oh, well, there you go, Mr. Pelosi. I mean, I'm sure. Look, remember that time he was drunk and was standing on the line? There wasn't any pictures until afterwards, and it was a video, and the trooper was literally, knew he was drunk, and I don't think the trooper really knew who he was in the beginning until at the end. But this assailant, according to Drew Hamill, who is the spokesman, said in a statement on Friday, bless you, that the assailant is now in custody and the motivation for the attack is under investigation. And he said that Mr. Pelosi, 82, is expected to make a full recovery. And that Miss Pelosi, because I was like, did they get her too? I was wondering in the beginning. I was like, man, I wonder if they got her, if this was an assassination attempt or something. But they said that Miss Pelosi was in Washington, D.C., of course, with her protective detail at the time of the break-in. So she can have protective detail, but he can't?
Yeah, there's no security at the house. That is really and also, too, coming right before the midterms. And then we know that Paul Pelosi was busted for DUI. So the whole thing just
they own this.
It reeks.
They own this three-story floor red brick townhome in San Francisco's exclusive Pacific Heights neighborhood, and they've owned that home since I believe 1987. And in January of 2021, after Congress passed a stimulus bill, their home was vandalized with graffiti. Remember, we saw it on the news, and
that looks fake.
And it was a pig's head was left on the sidewalk, and the vandalism occurred before the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol as well. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get a message out to the Pelosi's. I don't know. Their names out there a lot. I just don't understand how somebody could break into, unless he left the doors unlocked or they beat the door down or broke down a window. But you would think that Pelosi's would have a safe room in their house at least, right?
Yeah, I'm just still surprised that this is actual news, right? I'm surprised that nobody's talking about real important things that are happening right now, such as currency debasement, inflation.
Well, let me ask you a question, right? Rob. You want to get into that? I had to share that.
Well, I get it, but we all know that these are false narratives. These are false flags. There you go. False.
Well, we
flags.
don't know. He may be really in the hospital. He could be hurt.
Hey, listen. There's things like this happen every single time to normal individuals. There's people right now that cannot walk down the street because they're concerned about getting beaten up by the homeless, right? You have people here in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, being assaulted for their watches, for driving nice cars, and nobody's talking about that. But you have an 82-year-old guy.
Well, let me
who's married to the Speaker of the House, right? With an abundance of security. And randomly, the house gets broken into and he gets assaulted.
Well, let me tell you, there was another assault yesterday. Well, actually,
one thing you forgot to mention, he was wearing a Make America Great hat.
Oh, come on, stop. He's crazy. Listen, there was another assault. Do you guys know about that one? The guy, Chris Redd, that is on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Chris Redd is out of the hospital after being sucker punched in the face outside in the New York's Comedy Cellar. So while he's outside of the bar of the club, and he was attacked by a stranger Wednesday night at the same place he was scheduled to perform, and this is according to the NYPD.
Right, but that's like a verified assault. Like, there are photographs.
Well, it was a brutal attack.
Yeah, he got fucked up. Yeah.
Well, he got pretty messed up.
He got mollywopped, but I mean, that's a verified attack. There's photos of that. There's a police report on that.
But I'm just telling you, these streets and this. We were talking about this yesterday. There's nowhere you can't even go in your own home without being attacked, right? There's people that are going to your door. I was watching a story last night where this lady who happens to be running for an office in one of the lower offices, she had, like, remember I was telling you all about how I got that text? Yeah. Well, she invited him over. Now, little did they know she was one of the frickin' politicians. And long story short, she figured it out. Anyway, they were asking her for her copy and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, long story short, she filmed it all. She made sure she had a copy of it. And turns out that it was another, like it was on the Democratic Party. It was a scam, total scam. So people out there, do not answer your doors. There is a lot of scams going on out there, and we're going to talk about some of them in this show today because I'll tell you, I'm making damn sure that in 11 days I'm in line and I'm placing my vote. That's right. By person. I'm not
11 days away. Wow.
So close. So close. Less than 2 weeks now.
Wow.
It's so close, right? So I'm going to make sure that my my vote actually counts, and you should too. All right. So I got something else I want to go over with you guys, and this has to do with a high school teacher. And this high school teacher, he is a phys ed teacher and a father of 6 who just was put on, listen to this, y'all, you won't believe it, who was just put on disciplinary leave for not allowing a 14-year-old, not boy this time, girl, into the boys' locker room. Now, I'm not kidding you. So last week, there was a guy, his name is Mr. Cody Hiller. He's a school teacher. He's a phys ed teacher for 14 years at West Frankfort High School in Illinois. Imagine that, Illinois. And he refused to follow orders and let a girl into the boys' locker room. Now, why in the hell is a girl 14 years old trying to go into a boys' locker room? I'll make you wonder. Anyway, Mr. Hiller was removed and then put on disciplinary leave. And Cody Hiller, Mr. Hiller, went on to tell his story to the Branham House on Frank's Beach on Wednesday. And I would share it with you, but I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. But is it? So we can share it?
Yeah.
All right, check this out, y'all. This is on, I didn't know it was all over. All right, here we go. Let me turn this on. No, I'm not doing this. This is on Lindell TV. I'm not going to promote Mike Lindell on here. Anyway, because it's Mike Lindell trying to promote this. I just wanted to share the story. I see what he's doing now. So I don't want to share it like that way, but I want to share the actual story with you. Because on Monday, this was a letter now that was sent from a parent at the school that was sent to Sharana Bishop. at Frank's speech. And she shared this letter. On Monday, the girl was sent into the boys' locker room without any warning to the boys. Joseph, a student, saw her and left the area saying, "I'm not changing with a girl in there. It's not right." Good for you, Joseph. And I spoke with the school and the superintendent's office, and they said there is nothing they can do. Today, he went into the locker room, and the girl was in there, and he told her from across the room, "You should not be in here, and you are not a boy." Now, mind you, these kids are 14 years old. This is why it's important to go out and vote. Listen to this. And you are not a boy. Another boy got up and shoved and cussed at Joseph. And another student came in and broke things up. No punches were thrown. Joseph is on the Scholar Bowl, Beta Club, National Honor Society, Youth and Government Band, the wrestling team. He's at the top of his class and was chosen in one of the Senior of the Month by faculty. Joseph, in other words, Joseph sounds like he's an angel. And he has no absences this year. And the GP, I honestly, and he has a GP quarter of 5.51. This kid's, man.
Just Mr. All-American.
Oh, yeah. On a 5-point scale, 5.51 on a 5-point scale, Andy.
Wow.
Joseph was taken directly to the ACR, while the other kid who put his hands on him was not. I was called by the school and told the situation. This letter is so long. At this point, I was not happy with what was going on, and my wife went to the school and signed him out. I called Duncan to discuss the situation, and after 33 minutes of conversation, nothing was resolved. I asked him, how is it legal to have an 18-year-old boy with his you-know-what out in front of a 14-year-old girl? Oh, so there was going to be sex in there. Is that what was getting ready to go down? I'm just kidding you. I'm kidding. Anyway, they're talking about a wiener out in front of a 14-year-old girl. Yeah. But remember, there was another guy in there that pushed the other guy. Maybe they were, I don't know. Anyway, let me finish this. Now it's getting interesting. And was told it was okay because it was a locker room and people are expected to be in various stages of undress. If your 14-year-old daughter, a minor in the eyes of the law, is changing in her bra and an 18-year-old boy, an adult, walks into the locker room with no warning and drops his pants in front of her, exposing his penis, she is not expected to say anything, and if she does, she will receive as punishment for discrimination.
Why was she there to begin with? Was it
14?
Because she identified as a boy?
That's why I'm going to finish reading it.
Okay.
Evidently, the administration does not care about your children's safety and will not stand up for what is right. To send a minor girl into a boy's locker room without warning and expect none of them to say anything, not even out of shock for the situation, is completely unreasonable. I was told that they didn't give the kids a heads up this was happening, or giving them an alternative to avoid the situation before they sent her in because they didn't want to discriminate against her. This is just bullcrap. Anyway, your sons and your daughters are not safe in the locker room at their own high school, it sounds like, anymore. And all it would take... I
don't understand why she was there to begin with.
I don't know.
Because the only thing I could...
identify this guy.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. That's the only way they would defend her, because in any other circumstances they would tell her to leave. But
You're
only
a teacher.
No, but why, Andy? Why would a 14-year-old girl even wander into
'Cause she
an
had-
adult locker room. These guys were 17, 18 years old.
eh,
But why is a 14-year-old girl, unless
The only
maybe
thing
she
I
had
can-
a date in
the
there
only
with the
thing I
other
can
guy or
think of-
something? He pushed the other one away, didn't he? Oh,
yeah,
we're just
I don't
all
know. The only reason that
circumstances here.
knowing the left and how schools work, the only reason I can think of was that the girl identified as a guy, and that would be the only reason they would take this drastic action against the kid who was the exemplary model student. So it's just that it goes back to the leftist sickness, the mentality that if you just think, if you identify as one member of the opposite sex, then they think you are, and you should be able to go in the locker room. I had this discussion. I remember when I was teaching, I had this discussion with a student explaining this idea, and she looked at me like, "You should, no way. A guy can just walk into a girl's room if he just thinks he's a girl." And I'm like, yeah. And there happened to be another teacher there.
Man, that
who
stuff
believed in
didn't
me.
happen when I was a kid. You had
That's the only thing I
one
can
end
think
was
of.
the boys' room,
Yeah.
and one end was the girls' room, and the boys were not allowed to go into the
I got in a lot
girls'
of
room.
trouble for that going in.
You know,
Why'd you go in the girls'
yeah.
room?
I was,
you done stuck your foot in your mouth.
all right, I'll tell you the story later.
Oh, now y'all are gonna want to know the story, just like me and Rob. Why did you go in a girl? How old were you?
I think it was junior high. Yeah, and I was, there was a girl I liked, and I followed her basically. And
Maybe that's what this girl did. Maybe there was a guy that she liked.
I don't know.
So what
but I
happened?
can't
Did you
think
get caught?
Yeah, I got caught and I got in a little trouble, but I talked my way out of it basically.
Yeah, no, I think
Well, this sounds like this story here. What? Andy, you just stuck your foot in your mouth. Do you go in more girls' bathrooms?
That was it. I didn't go. I went into the girls' gym. It was different back then because they were kind of next to each other.
How long were you in there?
Not too long. And
Did you keep your pants on?
Yeah. A girl saw me there. She told me to get out, and
Were you planning on doing something in there? Like you were, weren't you? You were going to go in there and have sex with that girl,
no,
weren't you?
I wasn't. No.
How old were you?
No, it was junior high. I wasn't.
How old was that girl?
What's that?
How old was the girl?
Probably 13.
And how
14.
13? And how old were you?
Around that age. Yeah. So it was just like junior high prank stuff.
Doesn't sound like a prank to me. Sounds like you were going to get intimate.
No. Your friend tells you go in there. You see what you.
I'd like to hear y'all's opinions out there. Andy was 13. The girl was 13. They walk into the girl's bathroom. He's meeting her, and then he got caught because another girl saw him, and then he got in trouble.
No, this was very.
Let me hypnotize you on that one.
This was very innocent at that time.
Okay.
You just tried to see what you could. Like when I was a kid, me and a friend of mine,
There we go again.
we broke into this girl we liked. We broke into her house.
Wait. Andy, you were like a freaking what do you call those? A delinquent.
We would we'd snuck into the house and
Like Pelosi's house?
no, we would sneak in like when they weren't there. We just like to do that. We would sneak in and one time we went into this garage area. We snuck in there and watched TV, and then we would go in through the doggy door. We were small enough we could get in through the doggy door. So we used to.
This just gets better and better, Rob.
This is just stuff kids did.
I never broke into anybody's house.
This was just done during an innocent time, and when people did. I remember telling the story to my sister, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we used to break into so and so's house. Everybody did it. It wasn't
No,
like,
not everybody.
Yes, they did.
Rob, do you break
common.
into anybody's house ever?
It was very common.
I've
He's
never.
Younger. He's younger. You couldn't do that.
Rob, Andy,
people used to
I'm
leave
older than you, and I never broke into anybody's
People used
house.
to leave their doors open, and you could walk into people's house. You didn't have to call anybody. You go to your friend's house. And
Andy, we're getting a lot of comments on this right now. Anything else you've done? Did you go to jail for breaking into the house?
I didn't go to jail for that. No, I didn't go to jail.
How did you break in?
I told we would go through the doggy door, or we would go through.
Now,
we would
you
sneak
say
in through
we.
the garage. I had a friend of mine who was like my partner.
Another guy?
Yeah.
And this girl was in there?
No, she wouldn't be home. We would do it when
Why
she
would
was.
you go into her house? Sniff her panties or something? What were you doing?
Hey, look who's getting, careful.
I'm just asking. What were you going in there for?
We would just go in
Just
there.
I'm going to wander around the house. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wander.
Yeah. We used to go get in the refrigerator and eat stuff and things like that.
Did you drink beer while you were in there too?
No, we were too young to be. We weren't into beer at the time. We were pretty young.
How many other houses have you broken into?
Not too many. I think we can move on.
I mean,
you see how different, with some of those stories, you could see how different it was with as time changed, as
Culture.
as cultures,
values change.
as values change, as everything's now you have to be cultured. This whole new.
don't get any ideas out there. Don't be going in through doggy doors. Maybe that's how they got into Pelosi's house.
Had I done that back when I was Andrew's age, I'd be arrested. You'd get beat up. Not a good look. You'd be the laughingstock of the school, right? You'd be ridiculed. You'd be looked down upon if you broke into somebody's house.
He never got caught.
It sounds like it was a.
Well,
thing.
Rob, maybe that's how they got into Pelosi's house. Maybe went through a little doggy door. Sounds like.
But we had to be small enough. I mean, we were pretty young at that time. We're probably 10 years old.
I don't know if you put your body sideways, you can get in those doggy doors. Romeo could get in the doggy door if you wanted to, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can.
You can. Yeah.
See, already the teacher knows you can squeeze. Hey, listen, let's get away from all this here for a moment. According to TIAA Craft, who basically is the custodian for all the professors and teachers, and they do all the IRAs and the 401ks. Anyway, they're a custodian like Schwab, Fidelity. It's called TIAA Craft. So their head came out yesterday and said, and it's interesting because I've helped a lot of TIAA Craft clients get away from them. Yeah. And they're now saying that we are facing a retirement crisis in our country. And this is the head of TIAA, as 40% of Americans now run the risk of running out of money. Huge news. Big news. This is why it's so important to get your house in order. Give us a call, 800-753-8534, 800-753-8534. I put together a really nice report. We can send it out to you. You can look it over, and then you can make your decision. Or you can call at 323-380-5485. All right, so not any liberal, not anything like that, but CBS came out and they calls out. Well, I'll show you the video, and then but they talk about the inconvenient truth behind Biden's push for electric vehicles. And I'll tell you what it is. There's members of a small Minnesota town that sounded the alarm about the damage to the environment, they said, that would come from clean energy project funded by the Biden administration. In a report that was done yesterday, CBS Morning News environmental reporter Ben Tracy traveled to this little town in Tamarack, Minnesota, where residents told them that they were concerned that a nickel mine being developed on local farmlands would have a toxic impact on their water. Ironically, the mine was funded through, guess where? A grant by the Biden administration to develop batteries for electric vehicles as part of its green energy agenda. You guys aren't saying anything.
No,
It's mind blowing.
People have an idea that shifting over to electric is all going to be an environmental walk in the park, which is totally not true. going to be a lot of environmental challenges with that too.
Well,
And this is just one, but people have a misguided notion that if you just switch everything over to electric,
there's a lot of
that
consequences.
there's not going to be any environmental consequences, which is completely false.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about contaminating, the water, right?
It's going to kill a lot of people.
Going to hurt a lot of people. This is another reason, folks, we need to get out and vote. Make sure you get your vote counted. Don't fall for the scam that they tried to pull on me, where they were going to come out to my home. They knew I hadn't voted yet. That means they're using a footprint. They're waiting for me to make my vote, which is kind of odd. Because I have not. It's at home waiting to go. And, well, anyway. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this over and over again. So the Texas literally came out in a statement yesterday, and it's even more news today confirming it, that the Republican Party of Texas has now announced further confirmation that Planned Parenthood of Texas votes attempting to register, listen to this, deceased voters with Democratic gubernatorial challenger Robert Beto O'Rourke. Now he is attempting to do the same scheme. You know about this? So Beto O'Rourke, who is running against Abbott in Texas, the Texas GOP announced that they had received numerous reports of Planned Parenthood attempting to register deceased voters. Planned Parenthood.
Right.
And now they found that the Planned Parenthood is not only mailing voter registration applications to deceased individuals, the average date of death is over 9 years ago. They're going back 9 years ago.
This corrupt.
Yeah.
But they have also failed to include the political advertising disclaimer that is required by the Texas Ethic Code. And additionally, this firm has received, the Republican, have received confirmation that O'Rourke's campaign has also been sending pre-filled registration applications to deceased individuals with the average date of death, are you ready for this one? 13 years. Unbelievable. And setting aside the fact that these pre-filled applications were sent to deceased individuals, they also raise numerous privacy concerns as they contain an individual's name, address, and date of birth. And this is what they announced on Wednesday. And these blatant attacks on our elections, according to Chairman Matt Rinaldi, says will not stand. We have trained an army of poll watchers and election workers that will blanket Texas for early voting and election day to ensure that our elections are secure. Well, I sure hope they do that here in California.
Which they probably won't.
Probably won't, right? In fact, we've already gotten news that in one of these small counties outside of or LA or one of these small cities in LA County actually sent out double ballots.
Right.
Yeah.
Where was that? Where one of these cities? And they're telling them, do not use both of them. Come on. Don't use both of them, because if you get caught, you're never going to get caught. I mean, come on.
I mean, what are the repercussions? What are the repercussions from, Planned Parenthood, doing something atrocious like this to manipulate the election?
Right?
What are they going to slap on the wrist? Like,
Rob, this is why, Andy, this is why
They're going to get promotions.
We
People in in the Democratic Party.
Oh, we have to vote.
It doesn't seem like yeah. You make a great point. Yeah, we have to vote. There must be a change, but I mean, do you see how this is all rigged and manipulated? So does the vote really count at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Beto O'Rourke because
you feel sorry for him?
Yeah, he lost. He ran against Ted Cruz for senator and lost. He made a run for the presidency.
Is it Beto O'Rourke part of the LGBTQ? Is he one of those?
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't know. That's
he just
the
has
other
a
one.
phony. He has a phony Latino name. His real name is Robert Francis O'Rourke.
Oh.
But he took a name. Beto is a Latino nickname, and he
took it because he was in Texas.
Yeah, he took it to ingratiate himself to the Latino people there.
Ah.
So it's marketing. Yeah, exactly. But he lost to Ted Cruz. He ran for president. He dropped out after about 2 weeks of the race because nobody was voting for him.
Yeah.
He was so low in the polls. Then he's running now for governor. He's almost.
I don't think he's
certainly going to lose again against
Abbott's going to smear him all over.
Yeah, he's way behind.
Come on. O'Rourke
so
wants to keep letting migrants in, illegal migrants.
He's going to be 0 for 3, and you just wonder how does a guy like that who puts the money behind him? To who's funding the guy like that?
Well, let me just say one thing.
We know who that is.
This is exactly what a low-value male like Beto O'Rourke would do. A beta male, a low-value male, has to resort to things like this, right? Because he's clearly not capable of receiving votes or being backed by really anybody.
Hey, I've got something I want to show you guys. This will kind of give you a little laughter. This guy is always telling you to buy when things are going down. So check this out. You're gonna watch this. Is he gonna cry? No. Is he gonna cry? This is great. He can't even look at him in the eye. Oh, I bet this weekend Saturday Night Live makes fun of this one. I just. Oh. I did it bad. Anyway, I had to share that with you. Was he crying?
Yeah.
Was he crying?
That was so ungenuine.
So fake.
That was the fake. Yeah. Listen, dude, this guy's always wrong. Everything this guy picks, everything this guy tells you to buy gets freaking blasted, bro. I mean, I can go on for hours.
Let me show you who else is wrong. Y'all ready for this? Watch this. This is ready. He's wrong too. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that inflation is real. And Kellogg's this, I mean, come on. Andy. Raisin Bran. We're not talking Raisin friggin' Bran here. We're talking milk. We're talking eggs. We're talking necessities, meat. Electricity.
Yeah.
Gasoline. And they're saying, oh, gas prices are down. Well, they're not down.
Just eat the generic Raisin Bran and everything will be okay. Right. No, gas isn't going up like you
Dollar,
said.
dollar, dollar.
All food prices are going way up. Electricity, all your basic necessities are up, and this. I mean, Biden's he's always been like a moron and an imbecile. Even before he had his dementia was setting in, he always just had this like he was just like a just a
Well, Andy, here's another one. Watch this one. Here we go. Watch this.
uh oh.
Wheels on the bus go round and round. But yet, she never liked the bus. Remember, when she was campaigning against Biden, remember? She was talking about, do you remember this? How she was poor and had to ride on the bus and
She hated the bus.
hated the bus. Hey, now she loves the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round.
You know, they're just dumbing people down. I mean,
come on.
What a fucking idiot.
I couldn't believe it when I heard her talking about the yellow school bus, and then I watched Hannity talking about it.
It's cold because it's not high anymore.
Yeah.
Not because it's not cold. It's cold is different.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
You gotta go on the bus, go round and round. Unbelievable. Hey, I want to talk to you some guys about something else that came out, and they're talking about China's digital currency.
Yeah.
And it's huge because China's currency now, digital currency, actually has been being tested, and they took the center stage in the world's largest cross-border central bank digital currency, what we've always talked about, CBDC. And this is trial to date. And there's a report that showed actually pointing to how Beijing is speeding up their digital currency globalization efforts amid rising geopolitical tensions. And China's digital currency now was the most issued and actively transacted token in the $22 million pilot program that they did that used CBDCs to settle cross-border trades. A Bank of International Settlement is the ones that are reporting this. And this 6-week test that went on ended just last month. And it's part of what they call the M-Bridge, a project that pilots cross-border payments in digital currencies issued by the Bank of China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. Interesting. And the successful completion of the large-scale testing comes amid rising global tensions. And many countries around the world, including China, are wary of the U.S. financial sanctions. And that's why they're doing this, and they're speeding it up even more. So this provides a historic window for China to promote their digital currency internationally as the U.S. weaponizes the dollar. That's what we're looking at right now. And Russia was kicked out of the dollar system by the West following its February invasion of Ukraine, which Moscow now has called special operation. And Washington has warned Beijing that the sanctions it coordinated against Russia should serve as a warning as to what to expect should Beijing move against self-ruled Taiwan. And the perceived threat from the U.S. has now made the RMB globalization more of a necessity than luxury to ensure economic and financial security. And this is what the chief economics of Greater China and North Asia and Standard Charter all stated this week. So this is what we've been talking about. Remember, I talked about in the beginning of this whole thing when we started how the dollar is being used as a weapon against all these other currencies around the globe, and the dollar has been rallying really high. and it's really hurt all these other countries. And this is why it makes me sick when I hear this dementia president of ours talk about how the United States is doing so much better than these other countries. Well, yeah, I get it. I live in this state, but our country is literally putting these people into the poorhouse and destroying their currency. So I can see why the Chinese and the Russia and all these other countries have been feverishly working to develop a new digital currency that will literally take them out of the independence of the United States dollar. And not only that, have they not only been doing the currency, but they've been putting together and implementing and envisioned and started a payment system that would be in reference to their digital currency. And that, again, is why the order of 14067 clearly indicates that in order for the United States to remain the dominant currency, that a digital currency must be done.
And while everybody's distracted by Kanye West and, having discussions about,
that's why I waited to save this all for the last.
Yeah, the cognitive ability of Joe Biden and the idiocracy of Kamala Harris, you have the BRIC nations putting together, a new basket of currencies to diversify themselves away, or to get away from the U.S., right? You have Executive Order 14067 waiting to apply a kill switch on your deposit accounts and your retirement accounts. So, rather than be distracted by what's happening with Kanye West and the cognitive ability of Joe Biden, start getting your house in order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to say something on this, Andy?
Yeah, the dollar is, like you said, it's destroying all these other countries, and they don't want to. It's not a sustainable system anyway. If these countries, we need to trade with them, we need to interact with them, and if their economies are getting destroyed, ultimately it's going to come home and affect us as well. So it makes sense that they're looking for a way out of being on the dollar, under the dollar's control.
You got to remember now too, they have a whole new administration. China does now, right? They've gotten rid of the old and brought in some of the new, and as far as these guys, they're tired of Taiwan. Could very easily happen any time right now. I think they're just exhausting our resources is what I think China's waiting on. I think that's what they're actually doing. Look at when we got bombed at Pearl Harbor. They waited till we were at our weakest point and had no expectation that Pearl Harbor was about to get bombed. And then Japan went in there and went boom.
Kamikaze fighters everywhere.
People died. Things got blown up. It was terrible. And, China is not, Xi is no idiot. Look at how long he's remained in power over there, right? And look what he just did. I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but China just locked down 800,000 people. 800,000 people. Well, this is in Wuhan. 800,000 people because there was 1,000 cases discovered. 1,000 cases. I got to tell you, China is very dangerous right now. And, I don't know if you all knew this as well. The other day, they literally started selling U.S. dollars. They started getting rid of their U.S. dollars. And that's what started bringing the dollar down. They could destroy our currency so fast. People don't understand, and this is why I've always said, I believe that while we're sleep on our pillows at night, that's when the bottom of the dollar is going to drop out. And, you think about it, that's where most of our creditors are, is in Asia. And I think that's where the mass exodus is going to begin. I don't know if it's, this is my thinking. And that's why, I always say start stocking up on things. Start stocking them up on anything and everything, including diversifying your accounts, getting yourself into a safe asset like gold and silver. You saw the video in the beginning. That's no joke. Call us at 800-753-8534. 800-753-8534. You guys, before we get off, we talked about a man is looking at a photograph of someone. His friends ask who it is.
Riddle.
The man replies, brothers and sisters, I have none, but the man's father is my father's son. Who was in the photograph?
And I said, his son.
And how did you determine that? Because that was a hard one.
Number one.
What?
Talks about I have no brothers.
Man's father
I have
is
none.
my father's son.
Yeah.
The man's
Yeah.
father
I have none, he said. Right.
is me, is my father's son.
Yeah. It's his son.
All right. This is for all you baseball fans out there. This is the baseball one. You ready? Forrest left home running. He ran a ways and then he turned left. He ran the same distance and turned left again. Ran the same distance and turned left again. When he got home, there were two masked men. Who were they?
Say it again.
See, all right. So Forrest left home running. He ran a ways and then he turned left. Ran the same distance and turned left again. Ran the same distance and turned left again. When he got home, there were two masked men. Who were they?
The catcher and the umpire.
Yeah, I gave it away when I said baseball. That was a clue. Exactly. It was a good one, though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's number 7 that we've gone through so far. A man, I'm not giving no clue this time. A man stands on one side of a river. His dog is on the other. The man calls his dog, who immediately crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How did that dog do it?
You have to say it again, but don't
Why, I confused you that way. A man stands on the side of a river. His dog on the other. The man calls his dog, who immediately crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How did that dog do it? Or the brains really haven't. You can just see it going tick, tick. Does the school teacher know it? A man stands on one side of the river, his dog on the other. The man calls his dog, who immediately crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How did the dog do it? Maybe he's got wings, he could fly.
Sure, was there water in the river?
I'm just telling you what it says here.
Oh, okay. Maybe he crossed on a dry riverbed.
Maybe. That ain't it. All right, well, we'll let y'all ponder it over the weekend. I know it's in your heads right now. Give me the answers. Send me some comments, and we'll give you the answers on Monday. Hey, good talking. See you on Monday. Look for, we're going to be doing a lot of things. Like I said, it's happening. It's going to start after the first of the year. We'll be doing giveaways, and as you can see, Romeo is back alive. He knows that we're going off the air, so he always is ready to go. Anyway, it's good talking. God bless every single one of you. We'll see you on Monday.